2017. We wanted to create an environment to learn more about blockchain and cryptocurrency that will help my university students and faculty learn more about blockchain and cryptocurrency and related technologies. With just 20 initial members, we took a structured approach to teaching our members about the technology and its related subjects. As we worked tirelessly to accomplish our goal of educating members, interest in our organization grew. Like that of the cryptocurrency boom of 2017, our membership grew exponentially. In a mere 5 months, our organization grew from just 20 members to over 200. Our mission quickly expanded beyond the confines of our own organization. We signed meaningful partnerships with education networks, blockchain startups, and blockchain enterprise giants such as IBM. We unveiled a research and development community, began to further investigate new opportunities in the space, promoted entrepreneurship within our ranks, helped members pursue careers in the space, and most importantly, advocated for a blockchain curriculum on campus. Our growth and success did not go unnoticed. Today, MUBC is proud to say we have over 200 members in our organization. Members of our organization have gone on to found 6 startups, 3 of which are here to present today. We've become synonymous with blockchain in education, and we're debatably the world's largest student-led blockchain initiative. Lastly, I'm proud to announce that we've officially unveiled the very first blockchain course at Miami University. Created and instructed by MUBC advisor Dr. Arthur Carvalho, Miami is now one of only 6 undergraduate programs to offer such a course. As I move into my life beyond Miami University, I'm able to reflect on the amazing and rewarding journey we've had together. We've accomplished each of our initial goals to the highest standard, and now I have to say that our new executive cabinet, headed by President Ashton Carter, is poised to bring blockchain at Miami to all new heights. Ashton?
Hello everyone, thank you so much for being out here today. I'm so glad this actually came together and how well everyone has done so far. I want to thank everyone that's put in such a great job in making this happen. From our new executive board, to our volunteers, and then everyone else that played a pivotal role. I'm so grateful for everything that we've done so far. The founders of this club have set a very high standard and have built a very strong foundation that I look to build upon over the next year. As I've dove deeper and deeper into the blockchain space, I've noticed how much of an impact that blockchain will have. It will be just like the internet, where it will have an impact across all businesses and all industries. When I came into MUBC over the past year and a half, I've learned so much about the space, and I've noticed that the organization has such amazing ideas, strong foundation, and then high-standing leaders. I've noticed there's a few things that I can improve upon in my time here. Over this past summer, I got the incredible opportunity to intern at a blockchain startup in Shanghai, China for 2 months. There, I noticed firsthand some of the bad parts of the space, but also some of the amazing parts of the space. It is a very exciting space to be in, but there's also a lot of places where there's overhyped and overvalued blockchains. I look to improve upon that, and in this club and in the space, to bring real value and real experiences. I believe that some of you in this audience are going to be possibly some of the greatest leaders in the space, and can be inside or outside of blockchain, but I want to give you guys all the necessary skills and development needed to get there. I'm interested in bringing a stronger global and national presence with an experiential side of the club. My goal is to bring hands-on experiences and challenges to our members. MUBC has over 240 members, and I know that some of you may know that in an organization, a group, or a club, it is very hard to get people involved and keep them involved. That's why we here at MUBC have rolled out an idea to make sure that we can actually get people involved. This will be a Hyperledger blockchain incentive private blockchain that will actually get people involved and give more members more access and more permission. This is something we'll be creating a big project for, and we'll need a lot of hands on deck for. We've also created the idea of a blockchain. This will be a startup competition that students can create business ideas, develop a prototype, and then present it to VCs for possible funding. This is just a few ways that we can get members involved. And we're also bringing out development workshops, mini hackathons, and then a fall hackathon, which will be a big event here in MUBC. We really hope to bring more active members and more opportunities to people that really want to get involved here. So I encourage all of you to come out and get involved in the club. Now, all these new and exciting initiatives, we have the tremendous opportunity to grow and gain respect in the space. It all starts here with the 2019 MU Blockchain Conference.
We are honored and excited to host this year's MU Blockchain Conference. Today's presentations, panels, and discussions will cover a array of topics pertaining to the world of blockchain. We are honored to have industry-leading speakers in attendance from large Fortune 500 companies to founders of revolutionary blockchain companies, and even our very own student-led blockchain and crypto startups. Our honorary guests will offer insight into how blockchain technology is and will impact their respective fields, including such areas as government, supply chain, U.S. patent system, and finance, to name a few. The goal of this conference is simple: to give back to the Miami University community. We hope this conference will allow you to learn as much as possible about such a diverse and disruptive technology, and help you understand the amazing implications and opportunities that are present within the space. Apologies, we're a little behind schedule here, so we're just gonna move things along here. Awesome. So, to kick off the first annual MU Blockchain Conference, we are honored to have Michael Hiles, CEO of 10xts, provide us with some insight into how blockchain actually works. Michael has been an active member of the Miami community. In the past, he's given presentations on related topics to blockchain. As the CEO of 10xts, Michael Hiles has over 25 years of experience in high growth and fast-moving companies. Now please, help me in welcoming Michael Hiles to the stage to discuss an introduction to blockchain technology.
Good morning. Oh man, that's weak. You guys must have been out drinking last night. Good morning.
Good morning.
There we go. Hey, at least we're in Miami and not UK. Somebody said this morning if this would have been a UK blockchain conference, there would be nobody here, right? So thank you, Patrick and Ashton and the MUBC for number one, throwing this event. Number two, inviting me and a bunch of my esteemed colleagues out this morning to talk about the thing that we're most passionate about in life, besides like our children, which is blockchain, which is kind of like our children, right? So this morning, I'm going to sort of give you guys a quick overview of an introduction to blockchain. And I'm going to make it real light because it's been around now for a decade. And if you don't know what it is and you're at a blockchain conference at this point, I highly suggest that you go spend several days on YouTube Googling what is blockchain. There's a lot of awesome resources out there. Little quick backgrounder into myself. I'm the CEO and founder of 10xts. Some of my team members are here in the audience today. 10xts is a blockchain development company, and we have a product in the asset tokenization space. I'm also the general partner in Cincinnati Crypto Fund. We are a digital asset investing fund that puts capital to work in the digital asset space. Very small fund, but it's been fun to play around with. And I happen to also be the managing director for one of the accelerator programs within the startup Cincy community. I am the founder and the managing director for Founder Institute for the Cincinnati chapter. It's a Silicon Valley-based startup accelerator program. We operate in about 200 cities globally. And so we like to develop companies. So if you're in the region and you want to start a tech company, come and see us. We're recruiting, kicking off our recruiting for our 2019 semester. So let's talk about blockchain. Blockchain's real simple. You know, when I started going to blockchain conferences and started teaching blockchain, this is a long list of acronyms and very complicated buzzwords, and everybody wanted to get down into the weeds. And you know, I've got this saying, it's like the deeper you go into the rabbit hole, the only thing you're going to find is more rabbit shit. So what we want to do is we want to simplify the concept and make it inclusive. That's part of the problem. Is you've got people standing on the outside and still scratching their head saying, "What is blockchain?" And then you've got like these technical people that are like speaking in source code. So let's bring everybody together today with a very simple concept. A blockchain is a peer-to-peer network of connected computers who reach agreement about data. That's it. So let's talk about connected computers. A peer-to-peer network. Everybody in here knows what a peer-to-peer network is, right? Napster, and you know, it's just, there's no centralized computer server. It's a bunch of computers that are all communicating with each other. And then ultimately, these computers decide to reach agreement. In fact, it's called consensus. We're going to reach consensus about the validity of the data, the shared data that is stored on each of these computers. There's no single copy. That data is replicated and shared amongst all these computers. Let's talk about reach agreement and consensus real quick. Consensus is probably one of the most complicated and deeply discussed parts of blockchain. It's the mathematical process by which the computers calculate whether or not a transaction is true or valid. You can get real complicated down in the weeds. We don't want to find rabbit trap, right? So stay way, way, way above the deep tech today. The idea is that through the math, we can decide whether any given transaction is true or false. Now, we can get down into the weeds and talk about zero-knowledge proofs and snarks and proof of work, proof of stake, proof of authority, all of these types of things. But you really don't need to know how it arrives at the truth other than it arrives at the truth. The other part is the shared data. This is real simple. Think of it in terms of a globally shared Excel spreadsheet that only certain servers and computers are actually authorized to write to. That's it. There's nothing magic about this stuff. It's just a shared spreadsheet database that people have multiple copies of, so there's not one single copy. That's really important because if we want to validate a source of truth and we want to validate the efficacy of any given piece of data, that means we have to either trust the centralized resource repository, and we all know the data, you know, has never been manipulated, right? Or we have the shared data that can be referred to by any of the computers in the network. So, real quick, let's talk about blockchain data itself. When we talk about blocks of data, that means a new series of records is written to the spreadsheet on a given interval basis, whatever the computers agree to, whatever the servers agree to. And those blocks may include cryptographic hashes of data. So whenever I send Bitcoin to somebody, that transaction, assuming it's valid, gets written into the next block. That hash, or that index of that transaction is forever stored in that block. And then, in the next block, the previous block's ID is also stored with the transactions that were contained in that current new block. And in that way, we can be sure that the data is valid because if any of those previous transactions are ever altered, it'll produce a different result. And all those computers can say, whoa, Nelly, bad data, don't allow this thing to be written. Right? So in a nutshell, that's how the data works. Let's talk about the networks themselves. Back in the good old-fashioned days of computing and mainframe era, when I started, all of the computers were connected to a centralized mainframe server. In fact, you didn't even have separate computers. You only had one processor and you had terminals. Right? And then we eventually evolved to more of a decentralized network with the internet, right? So think of each of these sort of hubs as Facebook, Google, all of the big sites, right? And then they're interconnected with each other, or DNS networks. However, in the completely distributed network model, there are no centralized servers. Every node in the network is its own server. Now, what's funny is this is not new. This is old. Back in the old days, when I started in the mainframe era, we had this thing called token ring. and every server that was connected to the token ring network was a valid server. Every single computer that was connected was part of that network. So blockchain is new, but it's not, right? It's in tech. Everything is new. It came from something old, and it's rehashed. Now, the difference between the distributed ledgers is you can have a private network, and then, of course, you can have a public network. So a public network is like Bitcoin. Users are anonymous. Anybody can just sign on. Anybody can connect to it, start mining and producing blocks. Then you have these permissioned private networks, which is like the Hyperledger. I heard Patrick talk about Ashton's talking about the new project here for Miami. It's a Hyperledger-based project. That's a permissioned network. That means in order to be a block producer and write transactions to the database, you have to be authenticated by the network. So a lot of the enterprise stuff, a lot of the corporate stuff is using the private permission networks. So we this is from the World Economic Forum, and we joke around as a software development lab, do you really even need a blockchain? In most instances, no. This is really the best flowchart path that I've ever seen to help you determine, because a lot of times people get enamored with the technology and they've got this new hammer and they're running around looking for a nail. Everything looks like a nail, right? Like, oh, blockchain can solve that. Well, yeah, MongoDB can solve that too. Right? Do I really need a blockchain? So question number one, are you trying to move or brokers? Yes, no, right? If it's no, there's really no reason to use a blockchain, right? If it's yes, then the next question, are you working with digital assets versus physical assets? Yes, no. Third question, can you create a permanent authoritative record of the digital asset question? Yes, no. Do you require high performance, rapid millisecond transactions? Yes, no. If you say yes, blockchain can't necessarily do it yet. However, there are some consensus models, some ways to find an agreement that are now moving very quickly. And so the technology is evolving rapidly. And we come all the way down to, do you need to store a large amount of data on the blockchain, right? The Ethereum ledger is now up to a terabyte. It's massive. And it's still an experimental stage. So we're not solving yet the question of quantum storage, right? So do you need to rely on a trusted party for compliance or reliability reasons? Are you managing contractual relationships? Do you require shared right access? All of these things. I'm assuming that you guys are going to make the deck available afterwards. This is probably one of the most comprehensive ways to decide whether or not you need to actually use a blockchain. And, should the transactions be public? Yes, then use a public ledger. If they need to be sort of quasi-public or even somewhat private, then use a private ledger. Now there's a whole bunch of different uses for blockchain. Of course, we started out with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin was payments, transaction, payment transfer, store of value, depending on which side of that argument you are. If you're Roger Ver, you want it to be a payment system. If you're the Bitcoin purists, the old school guys, then you want it to just be a store of value, right? But in the end, Bitcoin was the first use case. But now we're, in government, identification, right? Mobile payments, insurance, endangered species protection, right? They're actually tagging animals and putting their identities on a public ledger so that they can be globally accessible. So healthcare, border control, real estate, shipping, journalism, all of these different use cases are candidates for how can we implement and use a distributed ledger, right? Lots of awesome pilot projects and pilot research. Every single one of these sectors are going to be disrupted. So let's talk about what we do with it, right? I'll give you guys some little indication on FinXDS and what we do. We have to answer this question, what is asset tokenization? Asset tokenization is the process of converting ownership into an asset into a token on a blockchain ledger. And in particular, we're working with financial assets, securities. Okay? We're taking what constitutes real world securities and we're making a token on a private network, not a public network. We, in fact, don't believe that Ethereum, Stellar, and the public networks are going to be regulatory compliant for the use by financial services industries. There's a big collision coming in that space. And I know that's blasphemy to a lot of people that are like public cryptocurrency purists, But in the end, there are existing laws and existing regulations that no one's peeled the onion deep enough yet to figure out, uh-oh, we can't put this stuff on a tier, right? So we're building a private consortium network in particular. So why do we want to tokenize assets? So back last year, CoinDesk did their survey, their big survey, and they asked, do you believe that regulated institutions will tokenize securities and stocks, real estate interests, etc.? And like 65% said within 5 years, yes. Like some people said no, never. I don't know what they were drinking when they answered the survey, but you know, we know that that's not the case. But why, right? Automation. We can automate compliance, right? Think in terms of the billions of dollars that are presently being spent by financial services companies who do nothing more than comply with regulations. Compliance reporting. That can all be automated on the ledger. What a phenomenal amount of savings. Now, some people aren't going to like that. Price Waterhouses of the world and the Ernst & Youngs and some of these folks that make billions of dollars in audits and annual compliance reviews, they're going to say, but in the end, we know where that's going, right? So if you're intermediaries, what did the internet do to travel agents? How many people, I can't see you in here because of the bright light, how many people in here have ever called a travel agent and booked an airline ticket? There's some of us old folks when we were like really young. But when the internet came along, that was it. We got Kayak, right? We got Google Flights. Why do we want to call a travel agent? And that's what the internet did. So that's exactly what blockchain is going to do to a lot of other intermediary industries, like broker-dealers, for example, or other people that are in the middle between you and the end user, the end person in a financial transaction. Liquidity is a big one, right? If I have an investment in a startup company and that share of stock is sitting in my drawer in my office, it's very difficult for me to sell that unless the company goes public. If that's tokenized, it makes it a lot easier to put onto exchanges, which now gives me a global opportunity at price discovery and a global opportunity at being able to transact across international boundaries, international jurisdictions. Speed, right? I can transfer ownership literally in seconds. When people say blockchains aren't fast, well, they used to not be fast, but our chain, we can handle 100,000 transactions per second at scale, which is pretty quick. I can confirm a transaction in a second. Thanks. Hopefully that wasn't too boring for you this morning. Thanks. And I'll stand here and entertain while Patrick is coming. You guys have any questions about anything I talked about? Question. Somebody didn't do a question. Slater. You guys have a question? I got a question. Kevin.
How soon will blockchain be mainstream made on everyday households?
Hopefully never. The problem is that because it was mainstream as a result of the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, blah, 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 which actually hurt the reputation of the technology, in the end, it's underlying infrastructure. It's not front end. It's just like your car, right? I want to go drive somewhere. You don't care about the engine. You don't care about the transmission. You just want to get in your car and go somewhere. And really, that's the same thing with blockchain. You're going to see a number on a screen, whether it's powered by blockchain or whether it's out of a centralized database, doesn't really matter to the average person. It matters to we enthusiasts, like, oh, cool, I got this token, I can get out on Coinbase, and I can blah, 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 blah. But that, in the end, the masses don't give a crap. They're never going to give a crap. They just want their stuff to work, and that's that. Good question. It's a better engine. Definitely a better engine. Questions? While I'm waiting on Patrick in the game. Come on. It's a room full of blockchain enthusiasts. Young lady up here.
For someone who's pretty unfamiliar with blockchain, what's the best approach to learning about it, or starting understanding the science, attending a conference?
That's a great way. The problem with attending conferences is you'll find that the conferences go all over the gamut. So you can go deep technology and cryptocurrency and economics, all kinds of stuff. Google is your friend. There's lots of awesome YouTube videos that are just fundamental explainer videos, and then go buy some, Coinbase, right? Just go set up a Coinbase account and connect your credit card and your bank account and buy a Bitcoin, right? Or a fraction of a Bitcoin. Just try it. You know, it's the best way to learn is experiential and just wade in. Good question. Anybody else? Come on. It's a room full of blockchain enthusiasts. You guys gotta have like all kinds of things to talk about with blockchain. There he is. All right. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and intro Vasanthi Chalasani, Director of IT and Next Gen at P&G. So Vasanthi is the Director at P&G IT and the Shared Services Organization of Next Generation Shared Services. And she has broad experience in business/marketing,